All right, we're going to try something new with this video. This morning, this document came out. I'm going to read Rand Fishkin's post in a moment, and I'm going to do it in this video so we can talk about what this document means. The reason why I'm doing this is that I have a book coming out very soon about how Google's machine learning systems have radically changed how they rank results. And that's what I'm supposed to be working on today is this book. And then this news comes out with information about Google's algorithms. And so I thought I don't have time to write about it, to learn about it, and to figure out whether I need to be changing my book. And then I also realized that Gemini 1.5 Pro or Flash, I'll have to see which one we'll use. Gemini and AI Studio will be able to answer my questions about this. So I thought, why don't we make a video about it? So first, I think this is let me tell you, actually, you know what? Why don't we just read from Rand? I'm not going to read every word of it, but kind of skim through. You'll see how this is what I do every day is just quickly skim through things, although I think I'm going to be paying more attention on this document. On Sunday, May 5th, okay, so just recently, somebody claimed to have access to a massive leak of API documentation from inside Google's search division. They were confirmed as authentic documents. Okay, so Rand is saying that many of their claims contradict public statements. So what I want to focus on here is what we can learn from the documents, but still I want to see, because this is what I am certain that the SEO community will focus on is that Google's lied to us. And that's a whole other discussion. I've been following every one of these conversations for a very long time and have a lot of thoughts on this. But in this, we've got a lot to get through. So I really want to focus on what we can learn from this API reference. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, well, click-centric user signals. That's something that is very important and is not a direct ranking factor, but certainly is something that's used in machine learning systems. Google search team. Okay, wait, where is this from? Oh, these are the claims made by this source seemed extraordinary claims. Like, okay, so this is what the source who gave this information to Rand, which we don't know why that was done, said. In their early years, Google's search team recognized a need for full clickstream data. Every URL visited by a browser. And that's something that we learned in the DOJ versus Google trial, that every single query clicks are measured. And what they call clicks might not just be clicks. They talk about hovers, mouse hovers, scrolls. And initially when I read this, until just recently, I thought they were talking about mouse hovers and scrolls on your website, but they're clearly talking about it in the Google search results. So as I go through this article, well, I mean, this is an article, but say this was the Google search results, whatever you hover on, whatever carousels you go past those ones and you click on one, those are signals that Google can use in the machine learning system. So, so yes, and that changes how we think about things, because now when I search for things, I'm always thinking, oh, what signals am I sending to Google? Okay, let's see here. Denial that subdomains are considered separately in rankings. Okay. Denial of a sandbox for newer websites. Okay, so I mean, those are things that are super interesting. Denials that domain age is collected or considered. Okay. Here are the claims. Oh, I did that part. Okay. In the early years, Google search team recognized a need for full clickstream data. The heck, I'm duplicating myself here. Okay. A system called Nav Boost. Yes. And so this is talked about in and this link will take you to the Panda case or testimony. If you have not read that, that should be all that you're reading. You know, if you're an SEO and you're trying to understand Google's search algorithms, there's so much in that testimony. And so, initially gathered data from toolbar PageRank, and that was my thought as well. That if you remember, we had we had the toolbar that Google gave to us at the top of a page, and it would tell you what the page rank, the toolbar page rank of the particular site that you were on was. And I remember when Barry Schwartz got a penalty for outbound. He was selling links on his site and not following them, because Barry said, well, I'm going off here. Anyways, toolbar PageRank, yes, collects data. It collected data, and I believe that Google learned from us visiting websites. And desire for more clickstream data. Okay. And that was the creation. That's why they created the Chrome browser. Okay, so maybe the information that is done on websites actually is something that is taken into consideration in Google's algorithms. NavBoost uses the number of searches for a given keyword to identify trending search demand. The heck, I don't need that. The number of searches for a given keyword to identify trending search demand. Okay, yeah, makes sense. The number of clicks on a search result. Yes, and these experiments, I was in one of these experiments where it was at, I believe, at MozCon, and Rand had us do some things like search this, click on this result, look around on this one website, and sure enough, that website started to rank higher very quickly after we did those things. And that started all sorts of people creating services to run click bots. And then Google, you know, had ways of combating that as well. Incidentally, when my team and I won the Wix competition a few years ago, we used that knowledge to win that. And my team was so smart. They had this great idea to put pictures of little tiny pictures of John Mueller all over our site. And the day that we had to rank for what was it, Wix SEO or something like that, the day that we had to be the team that ranked the highest over the other team that was competing, we put out a contest via my newsletter, and we made it so that people had to look around for the John Mueller pictures, which was sending signs of user engagement. And I believe that that's what made us win the contest, which is the new SEO, not manipulating. We had to have something good there. Anyways, here I go again off on a rabbit trail. We want to look at this. This video is going to be like 2 hours long at this rate. Okay. A system called NavBoost. Here we are. And long clicks versus short clicks. So my theory on how rankings work is that Google uses all of the signals. I've been calling them signals. I am thinking that what is in this API reference discussed as attributes is what I've been calling signals. And so Google uses all of these things, that whether a long click and a short click. So if I do a search result, if I type a search query and I click on your page, and then I go back to the search results and I click on another page, and then I never go back to the search results again, that's an indication that possibly that page has satisfied my search. And in the aggregate, as Google puts all of this information together, and when we first started learning about these patents about clicks, we didn't really, well, at least I didn't have an understanding at all of machine learning systems. And that is something that Google was very, very quiet about. I saw a discussion about whether Matt Cutts had said that Google, he said Google would never use machine learning. I don't think the quote was quite like that. I think it was like, you can't just directly put a machine learning algorithm in and start, producing search results. It's something that And also, the issue here is that with machine learning systems, nobody can explain the results that are happening. And that's happening right now with the AI overviews, that there are some results that aren't really what Google wants. And it's not like Google can just tell the system, okay, here's how you fix that. The system needs to learn. And I thoroughly believe that Google would not have launched these AI overviews if they didn't believe that the system could learn very quickly. And the architecture, the new architecture with Gemini 1.5 Pro, it's a new type of mixture of experts architecture, which allows it to learn quickly. So now Google has more capacity to take all of the signals, including, whether people return to the search results, whether people tend to click on your result when they do that type of query. There's so many signals that Google can use to determine whether people have been satisfied. Okay, Google utilizes cookie history, logged in Chrome data. My apologies for saying data rather than data. I don't know what's right, but I can't change. And pattern detection, referred to in the leaks as unsquashed clicks versus squashed clicks, as effective means for fighting manual and automated click spam. Squashed. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's probably what I was talking about with the click farms, and because clicks are so important, and because there are a lot of smart people in the world who have figured this out, and yeah, there's a lot of work goes into manipulating clicks. So Google obviously has ways. Again, machine learning systems, I mean, the way machine learning systems work, like really basically, is that you give them examples of, like, here's a good result, here's a not good result, and then the machine learning systems create algorithms to try to be able to predict whether something is a good result or not a good result. That's a very simplified version. So if you're trying to fight click spam, then Google can train it with examples of, here are patterns that are known to be manipulation of our algorithms. Here are patterns that are known to be normal search patterns. And over time, the system gets really good at predicting whether something is actually legitimate or not. So much of search runs in that way. Let's see here. NavBoost also scores queries for user intent. For example, certain thresholds of attention and clicks on videos or images will trigger video or image features for that query and related NavBoost associated queries. In my course that's coming out, I spent a lot of time learning about one of the testimonies is from somebody named Douglas Ord. I just don't know how much detail to get into here because this would take a long time. I guess basically what I'm trying to say is that Google has systems to determine, the quality raters don't just rate the search results at the top, but they have a measure. It's called IS4 at 5. It's a score that's given by rating not just the websites, but also the SERP features that are there. And so NavBoost kind of registers what people click on. And so, for example, how does Google know when to show a local query? How does Google, or a local pack, I mean, a maps pack? How does Google know when to show an AI overview? It's really, a lot of it is based on trying to predict what is likely to be helpful for the user. So, so NavBoost, this is interesting, also scores queries for user intent. I don't have to come back to that. Okay, Google examines clicks and engagement on searches, both during and after the main query. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. referred to as the nav boost query. For instance, if many users search for Rand Fishkin but don't find SparkToro, an immediate change and immediately change their query to SparkToro, and then they click on his website. Yes, yes. Then when websites mentioning SparkToro will receive a boost in the search results for the Rand Fishkin keyword. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. It's really hard doing this live, but I think this is really good, actually. It's not live, it's recorded. I can edit out if I say anything stupid. Okay. So Google examines clicks and engagement on searches both during and after the main query. Okay. So I'm searching for something, and what I click on teaches Google about relevance. This is something that that I understand. Um, and if you change your query, so say you search for something and you're like, no, I click on a few results, these aren't what I want. You go back and you change your query to something else. That's teaching Google systems. But what I didn't know here is this last bit. Websites mentioning Rand and SparkToro will receive a boost in their search results when people are searching for Rand Fishkin. So what he's saying here is that the actions of searchers teach Google systems that that when people search for Rand Fishkin, it's actually SparkToro that is his business that is relevant. And that makes sense to me. So this is something that is really hard to wrap. It was really hard for me to wrap my head around, but really the actions of searchers teach Google, especially for fresh queries, because otherwise, so there was a document in, it's not the Pandu Nayak testimony, it's the Douglas Ord testimony, I believe. That talks about when people search for the phrase nice pictures, they're usually going to click on things like images for Photoshop or, pictures that are nice. And say there was some terrorist event in Nice, France. When people start searching for NICE pictures, they're no longer looking for Photoshop. The majority of people are looking for pictures of the event that happened. And so for fresh information, there are systems that that help determine what is relevant. And so what people click on is very, very important. It's super important for you to get people to want to choose your book from the library. I'm going to be talking a lot in the weeks to come about this idea that search is a library. But getting people to click on, and this is why clickbait is such a problem. And Google has systems again to not combat clickbait, but they actually talk about this in, I think it's the Douglas Ord testimony again, that that people tend to click on things that aren't good for them sometimes. And so Google, has systems to or methods to deal with that as well. So, okay, let's see here. NavBoost's data is used at the host level for evaluating a site's overall quality. My anonymous source speculated that this could be what Google and SEOs called Panda. This evaluation can result in a boost or a demotion. So Panda eventually became a part of the core systems. And for many years now, if you were impacted by a core update, it really is clearly a threshold of you see, there's a line of you get this much traffic for a while, and then the core update hits, and it's like you can't get above this level down here. And so that kind of makes sense. I do believe that there are site-wide quality signals. if you were impacted by the September helpful content update, which really devastated so many sites, the helpful content system now, as of March of this year, is no longer. It's all one. There's the entire core systems that determine helpfulness. Yet we've yet to see any significant and clearly credible case of recovery for sites that were impacted. And I find it hard to believe that amongst all of the sites that were impacted by the September helpful content update, that that not one single page, now that Google can recognize helpfulness on a page level, is deemed to be helpful. Here I go on a rabbit trail again. These videos are going to be hard to do without being 3 hours long. I still want to get to analyzing the attributes with Gemini. Okay, so let's get through this here. Stop rambling, Marie. Other minor factors, such as penalties for domain names that exactly match unbranded search queries, mensluxurywatches.com, a newer baby panda score, and spam signals are also considered during the quality evaluation process. There was, gosh, when was that exact match domain? Was that in 2012? It was like around the time when I was trying to learn about Panda and Penguin, and so, but there was the exact match domain. The reason why I'm saying it is I remember that it was very public about this exact match domain penalty or like demotion that Google put into their systems. But then the very next day, or like the day after, sometime around then, there was also a Panda update, which Google did not announce, and it seriously impacted a lot of sites. So these are definitely connected. And a lot of sites thought that they were like, oh, I have a keyword in my domain name, like, is that why I was demoted? And really the sites were just like not very high quality. So, okay, Nav boosts geofences click data, taking into account country and state province levels, as well as mobile versus desktop. Okay, I'm gonna skip that. During COVID-19, Google employed whitelists. Okay, that's something people are going to be angry at. And during elections, Google employed whitelists for sites that could be shown or demoted for election-related information. These 2 points are probably going to be what the media focuses on here. Okay. Okay, so then Rand had a call with this person. During our call, this contact showed me more of the leak itself. Oh, there's 2,500 pages. Do you think Gemini 1.5 can handle 2,500 pages of documentation? I think so. See what we'll learn in a minute here. Doesn't show things like the weight of particular elements in the search ranking algorithm, nor does it prove which elements are used in the ranking systems, but it does show incredible detail about the data Google collects. And so, okay, here's an example. Absolute impressions, bad clicks, attributes. Let me just stop for a minute here. I pulled up, so just over 2 years ago, the world lost Bill Slawski, who was just such an incredible person in trying to understand this kind of thing. And as soon as I saw that this was just a big document of attributes, I was like, wait, that was what Bill was talking about. So I pulled up our last Twitter message, which was just shortly before he passed away. And I was asking him to come on my podcast. And he said, a podcast would be fun. I would like to talk about semantic SEO and what happens to keywords being replaced by attributes. How cool is that? And I didn't understand what he meant at the time. And now I see. So let me tell you what my theory is in terms of how Google systems work. And we're never going to be able to fully understand. And people are going to go through this and not understand it. I won't understand it. We're all going to have our own theories that align with, what we think already. And so you can hear mine. So my theory is that Google uses all of these attributes in multiple machine learning systems. And the machine learning systems over the years that they've been implemented, I mean, they were Google was AI first since 2017. RankBrain was introduced in 2015, and we know Jeff Dean at I/O had a great talk or talked about how Google's machine learning systems came to be, and it's just definitely, there are a number of machine learning systems. So these machine learning systems take all of these attributes. Not every system doesn't take every attribute. They have learned over the years which of these attributes is best to use so that they are better at predicting. Just as if you use ChatGPT is really good at predicting the words that are going to complete a sentence. And then Google's machine learning systems do the same. I mean, the one that we're most familiar with, if you've heard about machine learning systems and Google's algorithms, is the helpful content system. And the helpful content system, the helpful content system, um, it's not hard to imagine. Actually, the quality raters guidelines tell us that the raters label pages as helpful or unhelpful, and the machine learning systems can then determine. They don't just take the quality raters, though. It just turns out that they actually can take user signals to determine, like, did people actually stay on that page, or do people tend to jump back to the search results and find another one to be helpful? They take all of these signals and figure out which ones are best able to be used in order to continually improve on satisfying users' searches. So, so back to attributes. These are some that Rand has pulled out here. Bad clicks. Okay, I think I would imagine a bad click is I clicked on this web page and then went back to the search results. So that web page wasn't the one that satisfied my search. Clicks, good clicks. Good clicks are probably ones that the user stayed on the page for quite some time, or finished their search. There's an article that Cyrus Shepard wrote for Moz years ago that talks about Google patents that use clicks, and I would encourage you to find that and to read it, because it's not just clicks, though. They can take other things, impressions, longest clicks. Okay, there you go. So that's trying to predict or using, was yours the page that satisfied the click? That now, and I mean, certainly people could click on your page and go, that's it, I've had it with the internet today, and leave, and your page wasn't helpful. But the systems have learned how to use that, in order to better predict whether the search algorithms are doing a good job, are going to produce helpful results. Unicorn clicks, the subset of clicks that are associated with an event from a unicorn user. I don't know what that is. Unsquashed clicks, we talked about that. Okay, yeah. So those are some of the examples. After walking me through a handful of these API modules, the source explained their motivations around transparency, holding Google to account, and their hope that I would publish an article sharing this leak, revealing some of the many interesting pieces of data it contained, and refuting some lies Googlers had been spreading for years. Is it authentic? Okay, so Rand reached out to some ex-Googlers, and some said, it looks legit. It has all the hallmarks of an internal Google API. I don't see why it wouldn't be legit. Really, it's just a list of attributes. And then, okay, so then he reached out to Mike King. And Mike, I saw published an article on this as well. I have not read Mike's article yet, but if you're interested in this, I would encourage you to read it. I think he's had access to this for a little while now. I know he was excited about something. Mike and I recorded a video with us talking about vector search like months ago, and I never released it. I should release that. During a 40-minute, okay. This appear, okay. Appears to be a legitimate set of documents, Mike thinks. An unreasonable amount of material to ask one man, Mike, to review in a single weekend. But and so I will spend time with Mike's post. I am sure it is incredible. Rand no longer works on it in SEO. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Okay, I think we can move on to the okay. Oh, actually, no, he's got more here. What is the API content warehouse? The leak comes from GitHub. Oh, okay. They were, yeah, okay, yeah. He thinks they were accidentally made public and then found and circulated. Okay. There was something that Gary and John said in a podcast recently that made me stop and like made me go, okay, what are they talking about here? They said something, please, I might get it wrong here, but something about what if the algorithm leaked? Like, oh no, what would happen? People would start creating good, helpful content, like or high quality content. And so maybe somebody can find that. And it was a few months ago. Honestly, I think that what's going to happen here is people are going to choose the attributes and say, look, it links. It's all about links. And links are indeed, PageRank was the calculations that Google figured out using PageRank as a signal. We're really good at predicting which pages, helped Google be really good at predicting which pages are helpful and reliable and seen as authoritative. And so PageRank is just one of, as we can see here, 2,500 potential attributes. And so yeah, let's keep going here. No leak of this magnitude or detail has ever been reported from Google's search division. Yeah, we don't know whether this is the most recent version. Okay, so here's the thing that the architecture for Gemini 1.5 Pro, I keep talking about it. I wish Google named it something different. The architecture is a brand new advancement in their machine learning systems. And so with the March core update, when Google said it was marked an evolution in how they determine the helpful, or an evolution in how their systems determine the helpfulness of content, like I really do believe that this was a significant change, just like Hummingbird was a significant change, which set Google search up to learn the semantics of language. And we didn't really see much change at the time when it was implemented. This is another engine change, like to Google. So does this mean that this document is no longer being used? No, I think these are the attributes that now that Gemini 1.5 can handle. And don't get me wrong here, I'm not talking about the chatbot Gemini. I'm talking about the new type of architecture, just like the transformer that Google developed was an architecture. This is a newer, more advanced, more efficient type of architecture. I really believe that it has radically changed the amount of attributes that Google can use. So previously, the helpful content system, the quality raters were labeling sites as helpful, not helpful, and they had a few other signals from live experiments as well. But now, what if these ranking systems can use the majority of these 2,500 attributes and just figure out for itself what is the most likely to produce relevant results and reliable results. Let's see here. All right. So this is the document, and it's a lot, and I can't actually put the whole thing into Gemini 1.5 because I've realized, but we can still talk about it with Gemini, that okay, so the pages here are just lists of attributes, lots and lots of attributes, and then we've got modules, which I opened up a couple here. We'll look at a couple of those, but there's a lot. So when Google tells us that search runs on, a complex system, many systems and algorithms working together, like there's no way that we can completely understand what's happening. But it's built for one purpose, and that is to show people results that they tend to find helpful and reliable. And so, okay. All right. So you may not have seen Gemini in Google AI Studio. I think that you have to have a cloud account to use this, although I'm not sure. They may have made some changes, but you just go to aistudio.google.com. And the point of this is that you can play around with the latest models because the Gemini that you see in the chatbot is not always the latest model. Although Gemini Advanced, if you're paying for or on the free trial for the Gemini Advanced, does use Gemini 1.5, which is dramatically better than the previous model, in my opinion. Now, I don't know if I should be using Gemini 1.5 Flash or Pro. So you know what? I'm going to actually ask it. We're going to, I'm going to make that bigger for people to look at for APIs and converse about it. Should I use the Gemini 1.5 Flash or Pro model? They're both great. The best. Okay. Okay. Flash is faster, more affordable. Well, okay. So this is free. AI Studio is free. The whole point of this is that if you develop a prompt that does something incredible, which I've done a few, this is Gemini analyzed my Fortnite videos, and now I can do 90s, which is something I've struggled with for a while. It's a move in Fortnite. So this isn't costing me anything, but so I don't really care about affordability right now. Less comprehensive understanding. Okay. So Gemini 1.5 Pro, deeper understanding and analysis, better. Okay. Slower response times. Okay. So you know what? That's what we're going to do. So we're going to switch the model to Gemini 1.5 Pro. I would imagine that it defaults to Flash because it's probably cheaper for Google. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. To this, and I'm going to take a screenshot of it. And then I'm just going to give that. The left sidebar lists attributes repeatedly, indicating this section focuses on defining various attributes within the API. Focus on relevant modules. The main panel shows a few modules. Interesting. Okay. Wait. Did it just hallucinate that? Because you can't see that from the screenshot. Maybe it did hallucinate. All right, so we're not going to have time to like go through every single thing here. So let's hone in. Suggested approach. Try to find the complete documentation. Yeah, okay. Start with the modules, understand what each module represents in its role. Okay, so I want to ask about attributes here. Are they used in machine learning systems? You're right on the money connecting attributes with machine learning. They're fundamentals in this field, but often go by a different name, features. Okay. Machine learning algorithms work by learning patterns from data. The data needs to be structured, and that's where attributes come in. They represent the individual characteristics of properties of each data point. Okay, yeah. Okay, so you're building a system to predict house prices, then your attributes could be square footage, number of bedrooms, location, uh, different, and they're different. One is numerical, one is categorical. Okay. Training the model. The machine learning model uses these attributes and features to find relationships and patterns within the data. During the training, the model adjusts its internal parameters based on the provided features and their corresponding target values. Okay, yeah. Making predictions. Once trained, the model can predict on new unseen data. You provide the attributes and features of a new house, and then the model learns. Okay, yeah. Okay, so right, and then choosing the right attributes is important. Data transformation featured. Okay, I'll skip through this. Tell me. Okay, wait. So this documentation is apparently about Google search. What can we learn about? No, what can you tell me about at attributes and their use in search? They play a vital but unseen role in powering search engines like Google. They're not as immediately apparent to users as keywords, but they significantly influence how search results are ranked and presented. Here's a breakdown. Understanding, okay, this is good stuff. I'm going to just pick out a few things here. Attributes help search engines understand the context of a query and understanding the user's needs. There's multiple places where machine learning is used, where AI, machine learning is a subset of AI, is used um, in search, and part of it is in understanding what the query actually means. Ranking algorithms. Google's algorithms consider hundreds of attributes to determine the relevance and authority of web pages. And so this is what I talk about in my book, is that PageRank initially was, all of search is calculations. It's just a whole bunch of calculations. And what's held Google back is computational power. And now, with advance after advance, we don't talk a lot about the hardware that Google has developed that allow them to do more and more computations. And so in 2016, with Penguin 4.0 was launched, and that was when Google said, now with Penguin, we can confidently ignore unnatural links and not penalize for them. Well, it's if you see Dr. Pete from Moz again had, or when he was with Moz, had a heat map of when turbulence was happening in Google's rankings, and so 2016, it aligns like the end of 2016, right when Penguin happened. It was a September that it's red from there on that there was so much turbulence. And so from in that point, in that when Google gave us the blog post about Penguin 4.0, they told us that there were over 200 signals, and that was 2016. So now there are hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe 2,500 is the list here perhaps. So personalization, filtering. Okay, yeah, there's so much that we could learn here, but let's actually see what we can determine with this. I'm gonna just look at what to look at here. Okay. You know what? This is a very long document here. So, all right. I am going to Let's see if I can copy and paste the whole entire thing. Here is the document. Tell me what we can learn from this. Let's see if I can paste it. Looks like it. Yeah, I think so. Okay, we're going to run it. Oh, let's see. I just pasted. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's got the whole of that page, which was quite a long page, and it's taking, okay, this extensive document outlines the structure and content of protocol buffers used for various Google services, particularly those related to the Google Content Warehouse API. A comprehensive analysis would be very involved. Okay, let's see here. Okay, the document covers a wide array of Google services and data types, including search, modules, and attributes related to crawling, indexing, ranking, the knowledge graph, representations of entities, user data, structures for handling user contacts, machine learning, data formats for storing features, embeddings, and classification results used in machine learning models, spam detection, signals and indicators for identifying and classifying spam content, vertical specific data. Okay. A strong emphasis is placed on tracking data source information, versioning and provenance. Okay. Language support, privacy and security. All right, what shall we ask about here? Examine attribute definitions. Understand the purpose, data types, and potential uses. Yes. Tell me about how the attributes are used. Now, I don't think Gemini is going to make things up, but I'm just going to add here. It is very important that you do not make anything up, but only share what is extremely likely to be true. I don't know if that helps, but I want to be sure that I'm not learning something that is just what Gemini predicts to be the best answer. Based on the provided documentation, here are some highly likely uses of attributes within the Google Content Warehouse. Okay. Representing entity properties and relationships. The knowledge graph. Attributes like ID value, string value, date time value, and nested struct value within knowledge graph triple object are used to represent the values associated with knowledge graph entities. Oh boy, we're going to be studying this for a while. These attributes capture various data types. Text, dates, numbers, okay. And example, these are triples. So Barack Obama, date of birth, and the value. Describing user information, names, emails, phone numbers, organizations, photos to represent detailed information about a person. Wow. Categorizing and filtering content. Attributes like ID, subtype, age years, min age years. Related to abuse and age restrictions. Okay. Okay, yeah. So that's age appropriateness. Indexing and ranking. Yes. Index doc joiner, image data, quality salient terms, pre-computed restricts. These attributes capture information like anchor text, content quality scores, page structure, freshness indicators. Yes, I have a whole chapter in my course on freshness. Freshness The systems that Google has for freshness, we should be, this is part of why I'm doing this video is, well, I mean, not that I really care about my rankings, but is Google has information. What they need is fresh information. And so that's what the systems are built to reward, where people are preferring fresh information. Okay, various vertical specific signals. Debugging. All right, where shall we go here? Let's look at, let's say, are you serious? I am so sorry. Here is what I was talking about. I just shared this without switching my screen again, and got all excited about it, and I'm going to try to do it again because I didn't have the right screen on. So okay, let's see here. This is so I asked, yes, tell me about how the attributes are used, and it's very important you don't make anything up, but only share what is extremely likely to be true. I don't know if that helps, but when I really want to learn something and want to make sure that it's not hallucinating, because I don't have enough experience with using this to say, can I really trust this? But I from what I have used, I really think that that it's when it's drawing from a document, it's not usually making things up. When it's drawing from video, right now, it certainly is, and images as well. So, but documents, pretty good. Okay, let's see here. So, representing entity properties and relationships in the knowledge graph talks about triples. Knowledge graph, triple object. If you're familiar with the knowledge graph, you'll understand triples and how information is stored. That one piece of information can have three parts to it. Like Barack Obama, the predicate is, what it is doing. That this statistic is telling us about the date of birth, and the date of birth is the object, is his date of birth. So, describing user information. Yeah, we won't go through all of these again, but this is super interesting, and it's probably worth pausing and reading. But this is what's interesting. Many attributes within that are mentioned here are related to indexing, quality salient terms. That's interesting. Pre-computed restricts, okay, that's maybe a spam thing, are used to store signals and features that influence search ranking. These attributes capture information like anchor text. The anchor text of your links are labels that help Google understand what your content is about, what topics people talk to you in relation to. Content quality scores, page structure, freshness indicators, which there's a whole chapter in my course out soon, very soon. I'm supposed to be working on it now. I'm almost ready to launch it. And then all these interesting things happen about freshness. Google has multiple systems that determine whether users are looking or preferring fresh content, and then looking for fresh content. So many of us spent years trying to produce informational content that exists all over the world, and so Google doesn't need more of the same informational content. Fresh content is what's important, and various vertical specific signals. Okay, so what I want to ask next here is, we're most interested in the ranking systems. What can we learn from this documentation? Okay, you're right. This document, Gemini's always like, you're the best, you're the smartest person ever. You're right. This documentation provides valuable insights into the complexity of Google's ranking systems, even if it doesn't explicitly lay out the algorithms themselves. Okay, signals, not explicit scores. No single rank score. The document doesn't reveal a single field or score representing a document's overall rank. This aligns with the understanding that Google uses hundreds of signals to determine rankings. Attributes as building blocks. Many attributes store individual signals that contribute to the overall ranking assessment. Diversity of signals. Content analysis. Attributes like those in quality, salient terms, image data, and indexing speech properties, proto, capture information about keywords, content quality, visual features. Gemini has new abilities to understand images and video, and even speech properties, reflecting the analysis of document content for relevance. So these systems all are working together to not just say, well, okay, lots of people clicked on this, therefore it's helpful, but to predict based on its prediction of quality and relevance. And then let me see if I can explain this, because this is such a hard concept to grasp, because we're used to, as SEOs, searching for keywords. But imagine if I do a big long prompt in an AI system, the AI system can grab the context of my prompt. You're doing it right now. As I'm talking, you're not memorizing every word that I'm saying. You're grabbing the context of what I'm saying. And later on, if you describe this video to somebody else, you'll be acting like a large language model, drawing from your knowledge that you took and condensing it down into something that can be used. So for my course, I learned a lot about query expansion, how Google would take a keyword and then expand it with things that helped them better meet intent. And with, I'm fairly certain that with AI systems that can look at the whole context of large amounts of information, that that's not even necessary, that the AI systems, I'm saying AI system, that the whatever Google uses for AI, they are able to take massive queries, break them down and understand what's important, and then the systems can match that with content that is important. So what I'm trying to say here is that let's say it's a medical query. I could put a medical query into a tool like ChatGPT or Gemini, and I could ask that tool, what type of result would be needed for this query? And that tool would be able to tell me that, this answer should come from somebody who's medically qualified and is seen as an expert or has knowledge in this area. So if a language model that is not even trained for ranking can do that, then surely Google can make systems that can say, look, let's take the query, let's take like everything that's important in that query, and then let's match it with content that has attributes that align. And so I don't feel like I fully explained the attributes part yet. So we'll get to that. Let's see here. Link analysis. Okay, so this is what people are going to be talking about, that, oh my gosh, Google says that links don't matter, but yet there are attributes that measure links. Well, there are attributes that links are one now of many, many signals. And I don't get me wrong, links are important. Links help Google find new content. If you are a black hat SEO, links are extremely important because links help Google find your content, help Google determine that, yes, people are actually recommending your content. And whereas if you are an established brand or a website that people legitimately use, then you don't need to convince Google's crawlers to come to your pages. There are other signals that they can use alongside of links. So, well, links, see, here I go on a rabbit trail again. I could talk about links for a long time. It's super complicated. And I would say that the vast majority of people do not need to be link building. And unless, you're trying to manipulate and get Google to rank something that shouldn't be ranking. And even then, like, it's very, very difficult. And Google is continually working on making it so that their systems can't be manipulated by links. So link analysis. So, okay, there's attributes to anchor text, simplified anchor, anchor statistics, link patterns, indexing dupes localized, okay. Essential for understanding link-based authority and relevance. All right. User engagement. While not directly evident in this snippet, we know user interaction signals like click-through rate, bounce rate, etc. are crucial for ranking. Interesting. Bounce rate. This data is likely aggregated and processed elsewhere. Okay, freshness, attributes like last significant update. Now, when Google, one of the recent, I think it might have been with the September helpful content update, in the last year or so, Google put out an update and they changed some wording to say, like, to warn against trying to manipulate freshness, and to say don't just change the date on your articles to try to trick Google's ranking algorithms. And the reason is that freshness is important. So one of the best things you can do right now, if you want to rank better, is go to your most important posts and find information, not just new information, not like, oh, here's a random study that's connected, but new information that searchers would go, like searchers who are interested in that topic would find interesting enough to click on and to engage with. And so if you can be continually, and you can either add it to your current posts, or you can create a new blog post, you know, if there's enough information to do that. But continually adding fresh content is something that Google systems really are built to reward for most verticals, not all. I think. Let's see now. Okay, vertical specific signals for shopping, travel, and other verticals. That doesn't surprise me. Data provenance, trust, spam. Okay. There's probably some, there's no single rank score, which reinforces the idea that ranking is a dynamic process influenced by numerous factors. You know, I think this is a good place to end here. I think we could be studying this for hours and hours, and I would like to look at the modules as well that are listed in the API. But I'll be going on forever if we do this. So let's just say that this is super interesting. I hope that this has helped you see how we can use Gemini 1.5 for larger documents. Maybe that wasn't that. I think that was spectacular, actually. That. Now, if I was publishing, actually, I am publishing like this video, so I really should go back and double check all of these things. And this is something that I think SEOs are going to be studying for a long, long time. I do have a book that is coming out soon. And what started with just one small workbook ended up becoming essentially a textbook, and that will be out soon. That is, I don't claim to know everything about search, but I've been learning for a very long time to try to understand how Google's ranking systems work, because it's almost all determined by machine learning. And now that we have this document that shows these 2,500 different attributes that can be used in these systems, I think that's pretty cool. That aligns with with what my theories are. So I'll have that out for you soon. Hope you found this useful, and I wish you the best of luck with everything.